Alright, so I guess today is make a video day. You know what? We gotta stop killing ourselves for other people who ain't sincere about doing the right thing. That's just being real. It's too often that good men and good women perish for the sakes of other people. It's too often that good men and good women risk their health, their well-being, and their finances to make sure that other people have. You know? And there's a scripture that says, don't give your pearls before swine. And it's time that we abide by that. It's time that we live that out. Because people ain't sincere about you, man. They don't care about what's going to happen to you. They only care about themselves. And in all due respect, that's got to stop. You can't be calling people brother and sister and saying I love you and not doing what it says to do when you really say that you love them. People be talking about they pray to Yah all the time. Oh, you Lord, oh God, oh Jesus, blah, 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 blah. He says, how can you say you love me when you don't love your brother or sister that you see every single day? That's that sheep and goats thing. Matthew chapter 25. I be trying to look at people, say they're Christian and say they're Messianic and say they're Hebrew and all that other stuff, and just be freaking just talking the talk, man, but not walking nothing. You know, I used to listen to people talking about they loaned somebody money, and I used to be like, man, here, just take it, so that you can forgive them. You know, well, I learned something that was very valuable recently about forgiveness. It's easy to say to forgive somebody more than it is for it to actually be done. You know, Yah has this thing where when people tell me to do anything, if the measure is too heavy, then he actually flips the script on them and he makes them go through the same exact thing. And it's not for me to lament over. I'd be sad and flipping and living and wanting to get on my knees and fast. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing about David I finally understand, yo. Like, when I got saved, and I'm talking about when I just barely understood what I knew. It's like, when I got saved, I didn't really have an understanding of the Gospels. I heard preachers preaching, but I didn't really have an understanding of the Gospels. The first book of the Bible that I read was the book of Revelation. Then I went straight to Genesis, and I started reading the law. And I still didn't really have the understanding as what I understand today of being Yisrael, or of being Messiani, or being Abari, or anything like that. I didn't have that understanding. And I was trying to swallow things I couldn't understand with weight. And the thing is that I understood concepts, but I didn't memorize the rules and regulations. Like, to me, it was simple. My family would tell you, when I go to every single family party, I treat all the kids the same. I love them all as if they were mine. And that's because that's how I feel when I see them. They're my family. They belong to me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the firstborn of my father's side, and he's the firstborn, and his father is if we go by the scripture, he is the heir to his father. And who knows what his father was to his father? Who knows how long that line goes as far as position goes in their family? You know what I'm saying? So my rule that I live by and is that I will try my best to love you to the point where I gotta expel you. So I'm a big 1 Corinthians chapter 5 fan. Like, that to me made the most sense when I was first read it. And you'll hear pastors and everybody else speak against things all the time and say all these things about the merciful Jesus and how Jesus wouldn't do this and how Jesus wouldn't do that, and they'll pick out all the soft little punk boy versions of level of understanding of scripture that they could find. Meaning they'll look at these scriptures and they'll find the softest, the sweetest, the most caring verse that they could find in their mind. Mind you, this whole entire book came from the utterance of Yahuwah and the thesis and the goal and desire of Yahuwah. They'll look at all that stuff and then they'll point you to those scriptures when you're in pain and when you're in suffering and when you're just sad about everything that's going on in the world, brother. They'll point these things out to you. And then in their corner where nobody can see it, they're doing the complete opposite thing. And depending on what your spiritual grounding is and spiritual level is, Yah will actually manifest it to you so that you can see, to actually try to change things in them or to help you on your path of what you're meant to become. And that's essential because it says many are called, few are chosen for a reason. First, Yah seeks out sincerity of heart and mind, and he works with that, and he will always work with that. And no matter what sect you think you're from, sometimes you say you're from a sect and you don't agree with anything that that sect teaches and entails, but he knows your heart and he will work with you on that. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at this camera in the center of it and not right here, so my eyes tends to look that way when I'm looking at it, so I apologize. But the whole entire thing is that when he does this teaching to you and you get all this understanding and this knowledge, you're stuck with a choice. One, obviously you got to continue, choose to continue or stop. Two, you could do his will or not do his will. And three is, will you suffer the hypocrites? Would you follow them? Would you do what they do? Would you operate how they operate? And that's what we deal with today. The sad thing is that there are so many hypocrites in this world today that you gotta be careful to guard your heart and to guard your spirit, because you're not dealing with just you as an individual no more. Literally, when you come into this thing, you're faced with a war, and in that war there will be many casualties by the choices that you make. So you gotta do on the ground triage every single day, yo. You gotta choose, and it's not about judging people, because let's get this straight. If you have food, it doesn't even matter if it's your enemy, you still need to feed them. If they need clothes, you still have to clothe them. If they're injured, you have to take care of their wounds. That's not going to change. The thing is that how you intake these issues as relates to them, you got to be careful about that. Psalms 54, that's a serious chapter right there, yo. He's saying, as if it was my own brother, I cried for you, man. As if you were my own sister, I went inside and I got the machete to go body somebody for you. As if that was my own mother, I ran out onto the streets. I brought her inside and made sure she was okay. I put those seeds into the ground so that the food can grow. As if you were my own son. I bathed you, I clothed you, I held you in my hand, taught you how to read, taught you how to count, taught you right from wrong. You know, as I'm going through all this stuff, I'm going through Torah. It's so simple. Have that same courtesy that you desire for your own, for others. But one of the things is that you gotta be careful who you're willing to die for, man, and who you're willing to sacrifice for. Because a lot of these people are snakes, and you can do what Yah tells you in the basic principle of the Torah and the two Shema, or the Gospels and the law is what Christians tend to call it. You can do the basic tenets of that, and you can leave it at the basic tenets of that and be safe. Excuse me. If the Ruach HaKodesh ain't compelling you, then you better stop and you better calm down. 9 times out of 10, if it's going against that, then you need to back away. But the thing is that I notice even in myself, and even with the things I go through, the things that have been depressing me, and the straw that broke the camel's back in 2011, 2012, all these things right here, I had to realize that if you're not paying attention, you might get deceived, boy. You might get yourself killed. Now, I've said this for many years, and I've warned people for many years, and I guess Yah needed me to go through this because of what's about to happen, because there's about to be some serious stuff go down, man, and we got to be ready for that. But, you know, everybody ain't for you. Everybody ain't ready to do the will of Yah, and it's easy to say try them by the Spirit, but if you don't truly try them by the Spirit, you'll never know. What's more is that you don't give what belongs to the house, to the miscreant, to the stranger, so to speak. It was one of Yeshua's slick teachings or sayings or statements to a lady, not because he was trying to be wicked or evil to her, but because he knew her heart. Yeshua was trying to attempt to use her witness against others. Like, he went as far as saying, I don't give stuff to the dogs. And not calling her a dog, but it's just a thought process of, this don't belong to you. Like, what would you do if I said that? If I said that you couldn't have this at all? And she humbled herself, Her actions showed that she was way beyond deserving of this. And she belonged to our clan, regardless of not being amongst us. She showed that she could be one of us. And that was the initial reason why anybody who was with Moses and was given the opportunity to be Yisrael, whether they were allowed to marry our daughters or marry our sisters, this is the reason why they were permitted to do that. Because of the fact that the hope is that you would be sincere about this walk, about our faith, about our life, about our culture, and abide in Yah, despite of you not being what this was originally meant for from a physical standpoint, and that was pivotal. It's necessary. Look, love belongs to all people. You should never, ever, ever, white or black or Indian or whatever, you should never, ever be willing to look down on a person because they're not you. Love is free. And that's actually what Torah says and shows you. Now, Torah also tells you to do other things because of the fact that you're still at wartime and everything else is not controlled by you. So you must be safe. You know? And guess what? And in Torah, if something goes down amongst the people, you just need to let the brothers know. And they get their armaments. They go to war. It's not like that in the United States of America. Christians are not like that. And Hebrew Israelites are not like that. Messianics are not like that. Moors, not like that. Nubian Moors, not like that. Probably the closest people in all sadness and honesty to be like that are Muslims. They're the only group of people that when something goes down, you see all the men out on the streets. Girl gets kidnapped, you see them out on the streets. Girl gets raped, you see them out on the streets. You know what I'm saying? And that's sad. Because Israelite or Messianic will tell you that somebody's their sister all day, all night. But all of them are not gung-ho about stuff. You know? And I've mourned, I've cried, I've called, I've threatened. I've done a lot of stuff for people in my whole entire life. And we're talking about from the time I was in my preteen years, much less to be 35 now. I put in that effort. You know, I learned and listened and looked at my mom, and I replicated what she said in my everyday life. What my mom said was something one day that I never really could understand. And because I was upset and I was frustrated at her, and I was even frustrated at Yahuwah at one point in time. And even recently, I had this discussion with Yahuwah, and I meant it. Nobody wanted you to be anybody's pincushion. Nobody told you to allow anybody to step on you. Nobody told you to allow yourself to be used. Nobody told you to give yourself up to the wicked. No, you are not a slave. You are a servant of Yahuwah, El Elyon, the Supreme One. And it's about time you act like it. Stop being deceived by these people. Other people don't seem to realize that. And that's a crying shame. That is a crying shame. But it's our faults because we don't protect our own, and we don't establish things that we should establish to where when our own are around, we don't do that. We're more afraid of people calling us a cult than actually doing what the word says do. We're more afraid of other people looking down on us than us being the righteousness of Yahweh. My cousins used to say I was too overprotective. My friends used to say I was too overprotective. My family used to tell me I used to need to calm down in certain situations. There are certain situations nobody could ever be calmer than me, and people would be like, it's crazy. But that's because of the passion that I had, was because of the love I had in my heart. And people were just not ready for that. You know? And that's one of those things where they're not everybody in the world is inside your house. It's not going to work. You have to have rules. There's a hierarchy to that junk. And I'm saying that from a be careful and be aware standpoint, not anything else. All children to the day I die, if something happens, I'm going to be there for them. But I'm not going to be there for every single woman in existence anymore. As a 35-year-old male, I've gained experiences and understandings to how women operate and how women act, to be able to say it is in my best interest to make sure that if you're not my sister of the Ruach HaKodesh, then I need to be careful of you, because something could happen to me if I'm not careful of how I deal with you and deal with your issues. And getting attached to people who are anti-Bible and anti-Yahuwah or anti-Ruach HaKodesh is a very dangerous thing for people like us. As a man, if a man don't want to work and he's able and capable, I am not attaching myself to that man. That's just stupid. It's dangerous. You know, you could try to train somebody up only so long, and then they're an adult. You leave them be. There's a breaking point. Men have to operate a certain way. Women have to operate a certain way. Children, you groom them to the best they need to be. Your love can only go so far. You can't only stretch your hands so far. And if a person doesn't want to be righteous, sometimes you gotta kick them to the side. You gotta expel them. Because everything is not meant for everybody. Somebody's dying out in these streets and people are quick to cry and complain, but ask them one time to do what it takes to get it done. That's all you see. Mouths. That's a shame. It's a shame that we go through so much in the United States of America, and when it's time to actually be the thing that we need in this world, where you at? You're nowhere, because you've been phony and fake all this time. This dude asked me to come down to speak to Crips and Bloods and just told me the rules. Trying to go down, all the people talking all the junk, nowhere to find when it's trying to get it done. Talking about raising money to get stuff done, you know, because you see my videos and everything else like that. Talk about it every single day in my personal life and in Facebook and in my videos in hopes of getting people to help get it done. Where are the people I need to get this stuff done? Everybody's not realistic. Everybody's not real. But to the world, the things that they say sounds realistic to them. They attack things to them. They think I'm going to pray to Obama and pray to Hillary Clinton or pray to Waterbury's mayor for things necessary to get things done. That ain't going to work for me. And that was not what I was told to do. It says you are in the world but not of the world. So what that means is I talk to believers about getting stuff done and give the stranger, which is a person in the world, the opportunity of having their needs met if I can meet them without destroying the clan. And from that standpoint, they have an opportunity to accept who our Creator is, who the Manifestor is, the teachings of our culture, and subject themselves to being trained. We don't take that seriously. Muslims do take that a lot more seriously, and they're a lot more militant about that than we are. And while there's issues and errors and other things that you might be able to judge, when they need to get out on these streets, they get out on these streets and they have people listening. Where's that in our neighborhoods, in our communities, and with the group of people that we're dealing with? The only answer to the reason why is because we're a bunch of hypocrites and we do things half-assedly. And until we stop that, we're going to have no excuse why things go down but ourselves. And I'm also saying is what belongs to your wife belongs to your wife. What belongs to your kids belongs to your kids. What belongs to the kahal belongs to the kahal. And if a person doesn't want to abide by the rules of the kahal, kick them out. As the book also says in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, the body has many members, many parts, but Yeshua also said, cut it off, lest the whole entire body be thrown in the fire. Another scripture says, give unto the devil to be saved. Another scripture says to punish them, to create the fear, to prevent the others from doing the same thing. Another scripture says, purge the sin from amongst you, or purge the sin from amongst the people. It's a blemish, it's a spot, it's a wrinkle. Now, you can't go from Yisrael to Rome and attempt to lay siege on Rome and Rome's rules and regulations and expect that Rome is just going to accept that lesson. It's not going to happen. They have the people that they're subjected to, and that's why they call it the Republic or the Public. And the people lead that thing in their mind and understanding, and they are at the head of that. So they have a reputation to hold. And that's the same thing with going into Assyria or anything else. You can't go up into another country and tell them what to do. So why do you think you wake up and you turn on a TV and a black man gets shot and you are going to protest to get things changed? Hey, here's another thing. Why do you think that automatically you can just give anything to any black man and he's going to respect it? It's not going to happen. If a man is beating his mama, is beating his sister, is beating his wife, is beating tries to take a shot at his boss or coworker, he's unstable to begin with. Why are you giving an unstable man money? Why are you giving an unstable man anything? You need to deal with that unstable man or kick that unstable man to the curb. Unfortunately, sometimes unstable men get killed, and then you see it on TV. Unfortunately, sometimes you see stable men get killed, and they look bad on TV. You don't know their whole entire story. Either case, you can't just guess what's going on. You can't just assume what's going on. The one habit about American media is they like to throw things in our face and allow us to make decisions off of the immediate thing. But the truth be told, when the prophecy was made of Yeshua, it said that he will judge things as they are, not by what they see. So you don't know the full story, so you can't make a committed decision about something. I'm not looking at these videos anymore because I'm not making committed decisions over these things and then talking to a whole bunch of non-committed ass people about these situations. It's just not going to work for me. Not anymore. I ain't going to be talking to people about raising money every single month for the sake of building us up. Who are not sincere about building us up. They just wanted to use the internet as a tool to complain about what was going on in the world because they needed something to do before they went to bed at night. You know, tired of trying to build with these people, and I'm gonna stop. I've stopped, and it won't happen again. And I suggest that we take time to sit back, who are of the Kahal, and we worship, and don't get tricked into focusing or following systems like what we've had to deal with our whole entire lives. It just doesn't make any sense. We got to be better than this. And we have not been doing the best that we can to keep the righteousness of our communities. We own really not much of anything. There's approximately 30 houses on this street, and really all these houses should be owned by a community. You don't go into a Caucasian Jewish area and see that they don't own the majority of the houses. Right now, maybe on this street, 5 or 6 of these houses are being rented out by Jewish people. 4 houses are owned by Jewish people. And if I make a left around the corner, you're going to see that 4 out of 5 houses is owned by Jewish people, and that's because the temple's right around the corner. It's in walking distance away from the temple. It falls under their view of what Torah is. So they're going to do their best to be a community. They're right there after this street is one more block. All the houses are owned by Jews. All the houses are owned by these people. So you're looking at maybe 50 or 60 houses within maybe a mile away from their synagogue that they own. And I'm just underscoring it because there's like maybe 7 or 8 streets that these guys own most of the houses on. And they have debt free for their children. And they're open purchase only from their businesses on a lot of things. And then the other things that they have, they plan things out and try to figure out what's the best way to do it. And they arrange deals. They only go certain places that offer certain foods that they buy.